So we just played some clips of Donald Trump's surrogates going out and essentially being his surrogate to go around the gag order. In fact, there were some, I think it was, I think Mike Johnson even brought up and attacked the judge's daughter. And here is a reporter on a New York Magazine contributing editor, Andrew Rice, on MSNBC's Alex Wagner show, having sat in on the trial, says he saw Trump writing out basically talking points for his surrogates to get around the gag order.
And trying to hide what they're doing here.
In court yesterday, actually, I was sitting close enough that I could actually look over Trump's shoulder and see what he was reading. At one point, he was actually reading the quotes that these individuals were, and going through and making notations with a pen on the paper.
Before or after?
While testimony was going on, while Michael Cohen was testifying against him, he was actually going through and annotating and editing the quotes that these people were going through.
I mean, in addition to being utterly humiliating and transparent, there's also a real question about whether this is legal. Part of the gag order, Michelle, is that you cannot direct others to violate the gag order for you, which is clearly what's happening here.
Right. I mean, it's sort of like he gets hit for retweeting. So instead of retweeting, he just gets the people to come in.
Yeah,
and
human retweets. They're human retweets. That's exactly what they are.
There you go. Speaking of human retweet, here's Tommy Tuberville actually admitting this. Again, the stupidest man in the Senate, more or less, arguably admitting to a violation of a court order.
He pretty much can't defend himself. So I was really disappointed, Chris, on how this whole thing was run. But President Trump's in good spirits. I spent a day with him. Hopefully we have more and more senators and congressmen go up every day to represent him and be able to go out and overcome this gag order. And that's one of the reasons we went, is to be able to speak our piece for President Trump.
That makes me raise my eyebrow. Overcome this gag order?
Maybe respect it would be the approach to take.
I have a feeling that the judge may not be too interested in someone trying to overcome or circumvent a gag order.
Being suppressed. Like Solzhenitsyn.
That is, I can't.
And the thing he's instructing him to say is the AC is too cold in the room.
It's depressing.
And there's
it's depressing. The AC is cold, and the judge's daughter is a horrible person.
Not even attractive.
Sham proceedings. I really wonder if the prosecution won't at one point go, Your Honor, here's evidence that he's bringing these surrogates in to overcome the gag order. Here's evidence that he's actually marking up what they're saying and changing it for the next day, like editing and saying, like, tomorrow, what I want you guys to say is more like this. I want more of this and less of that. Meanwhile, there are people racing to New York to be supplicants for Donald Trump, to be his surrogates outside. And then there are people who are not invited. And if you're one of those people who is not invited, you're going to be very, very upset. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene, uninvited co-conspirator in the overcoming of the gag order, Operation Overcome Gag Order, on with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, who just yesterday was the DOJ requested that a judge who has found him in contempt of Congress put him in jail. And it remains to be seen whether he'll last another week doing the show. I don't know if maybe he can stream from in jail. But here are these two. And remember, Bannon was found in criminal contempt of Congress. I don't know where he is on that case about defrauding all those people who thought they were going to build the wall. But here he is getting his sort of like, I don't know, maybe getting ready, maybe he's buffing up for prison. But here he is with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is just livid that Mike Johnson got invited to defend the president and not Marjorie Taylor Greene herself. And of course, everybody knows that the reason why she could not be invited is because everyone who defends him has to be wearing a blue suit and red tie.
This made me sick to my stomach this morning, man.
Oh, I can't believe I just had to listen to it again, Steve. It's repulsive. And the fact that he's like, I came up there on my own. Yeah, who paid for your airplane, Mike Johnson? And here's the whole thing about it. He's up there talking, complaining.
Pause it for one second. I'm curious. I mean, she raises a good point. Mike Johnson, did he fly up on the American taxpayer dime to go and give a speech out in front of? In fact, what about J.D. Vance? What about Tommy Tuberville?
Doug Burgum.
Well, Doug Burgum is not on the payroll, is he? Or is he still governor?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point.
No.
He's still governor.
Oh, he is still governor?
Yeah.
I wonder if the people
Not a whole lot going on in North Dakota.
North Dakotas are really terribly excited about the fact that they're paying for him to go and overcome.
NYC.
Yeah. We take a couple of shows in.
Big city.
Take a couple of shows in. But Marjorie Taylor Greene just had to listen to Mike Johnson speak out in front of the courthouse, and she is livid. It should be me. It should be me. Pick me, Donald Trump. Pick me.
Mike Johnson. And here's the whole thing about it. He's up there talking, complaining about the weaponized government against President Trump, against our presidential candidate for president. And Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. Don't run up to New York and sit there and hug President Trump as tightly as you can and feign like, oh, all of this outrage over Alvin Bragg. That's a state case. This is a federal case. Jack Smith is federal. We are federal. Mike Johnson is Speaker of the House, which is federal. That's something that we can do something about. The Department of Justice that is weaponized against President Trump.
Can't we also do something about your microphone? Yeah. But she is obviously mad. She failed in her attempt to oust Mike Johnson.
And hug President Trump.
And hug President Trump. President Trump told her, don't do anything more. I want you to stop now. You're being bad, girl.
6 feet away, please. Not for that reason.
But it continues to be fascinating to me that Joe Biden is not running against Congress. It's one of the oldest plays in the book. And he certainly, I would imagine, had that book. He may have been there when it was written. Yeah. Frankly, it's so old. But there's Marjorie Taylor Greene crying.
It's one of the things they want to talk about that they see as serving them to talk about, like this sort of drama. You have thousands of people politically activated talking to you, and you're going to be like, why is he there and I should be there? I don't know.
I think the point is that the incentive structure within the Republican Party is so stratified. Like each one of them has their own ability to survive independently on some level, which, not inconsistent with their ideology on some level. Mm-hmm. Whatever in their own best interests is what they're going to pursue. But because of the nature, she is a huge fundraising juggernaut, and so she's knows she's a little bit protected there. It's interesting to watch this open war between her and Mike Johnson.
It's like a reality show plot lines.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.